Hi there, welcome back to True Gooner. So in this video here I'm just going to be doing a little preview of the World Cup that is coming up within the next week, and we're all looking forward to it. Well, most of us are, but I certainly am as well. And the things that I'll be discussing is England, I'll be discussing the Gooners going to the World Cup, and also some of the big names in the World Cup and who I think will probably win it and who I think will do well. First of all, I'm going to start off with the Arsenal players. So I believe we've got 9 going. The ones we've got going are Mesut Ozil for Germany, Lichtsteiner and Granit Xhaka for Switzerland. We've got Danny Welbeck going to the England squad. We've got Nacho Monreal going to Spain. I'm very happy for him. I think he deserves it. We've got Alex Iwobi going to Nigeria. We've got El Nene for Egypt. We've got David Ospina for Colombia. And we do also have Joel Campbell for Costa Rica, even though I pretty much doubt Joel Campbell will be at Arsenal for much longer. But we've got 9 players going, and obviously we've had a few shocking inclusions like Lacazette for France. He really should have gone, and Jack Wilshere really should have gone for England. Why he didn't get selected was absolutely ridiculous, but I'll get more into that in a minute. And we also saw Bellerin and Mustafi didn't get picked for their national teams. Well, at least with their two, I can pretty much understand because they didn't have great seasons at Arsenal last season. But overall, we have got 9 players going, probably 8 if you include Joel Campbell still. But yeah, we got quite a few going, and I think obviously Mesut Ozil is definitely going to be key for Germany. Danny Welbeck could be key for England. Xhaka could be key for Switzerland, and yeah, obviously we hope all the Arsenal players do well, and obviously we'll rate them at the end of the World Cup. We're going to rate them. So yeah, got quite a few going, and obviously we all hope they do well. Now moving on to England. Now, how do I think England will do? Now, first of all, I'm going to have a look at the squads now. To be honest with you, with this squad, it's not a bad team, but it's certainly not the best, I'll tell you that. And there were definitely a few shocking exclusions that should have been in there. One of them I just mentioned, Jack Wilshere. Why he didn't get selected, I do not know. And also Adam Lallana, I really thought he should have gone, because I think them two definitely give you lots of creativity. And if you look at their midfield right now, I don't really think there is a lot of creativity there. But I'll just go through it. So in goalkeeper, I think that he's got the goalkeeping right. We've got the likes of Jack Butland and Jordan Pickford in there, who I do think are definitely the 2 best keepers that England have got. So I think we've got that one right. And the back line isn't too bad, but I don't think it's experienced enough, and I don't really see there being a lot of leaders there. Of course, we have got Kyle Walker, Gary Cahill, John Stones, Harry Maguire, and the likes of Danny Rose at left back. It's not a bad back line, but I can see it being exposed quite easily because we haven't got enough leaders. Obviously, Gary Cahill is a bit of a leader, but he hasn't really had his best of seasons at Chelsea. But it's not a bad back line. And of course, we have also got the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold being picked, who's done well for Liverpool. And yeah, there are a few interesting inclusions there. Now, if you look into the midfield, we've got the likes of Jordan Henderson, Eric Dyer, Raheem Sterling, Dele Alli, and Jesse Lingard. Now, I seriously think if we're going to do well, the likes of Dele Alli, Raheem Sterling, and Eric Dyer and Jordan Henderson, of course, have to really step up, because they didn't at the Euros. Well, no one really did, apart from Kyle Walker, pretty much stepped up at the Euros. So I think they're going to be crucial to that midfield if we are going to have a chance of actually doing well. And see, this is where there isn't any creativity. Well, Ali can do a little bit, but there isn't really any. This is where you needed Jack Wilshere and Adam Lallana into the mix, but well, they're not going, so I won't dwell too much on that. But I will admit the attack line does look good. Of course, Harry Kane, Jamie Vardy, Danny Welbeck and Marcus Rashford have all been selected, and that front line does really look good. Of course, Harry Kane always comes up with at least 30 goals per season, and he is captain for this England squad, even though he's a Spurs player and I don't really like him, but we have to support him for this World Cup and actually hope he actually does do well and does get the vital goals that we need. Also, Jamie Vardy's a goal scorer and he always comes up with a lot of important goals for both, especially at Leicester in the last few seasons, so I think he could be crucial. Danny Welbeck, I will admit he's not one of my favourite players at Arsenal, but when you're watching England, he does actually do very well and he does actually come up with a lot of goals, including one last night against Costa Rica. And yeah, I definitely think you probably wouldn't see him in the front line, but he can also do a good job on the flanks with his pace and his pace and his strength and his skill. But he isn't really the best of finishers. But someone who also is Marcus Rashford. Obviously, he made his debut at the Euros, and to be fair to him, when he actually did come on, he actually did look sharp. And again, last night he also got on the score sheet, so I think he could be crucial and give us a bit of sharpness and fresh legs. I do rate him, even though he's a Manchester United player, but I do rate him, and hopefully he can do well. And if you actually look at the England team in general, it's actually a very good young squad pretty much. We have got also the likes of Loftus-Cheek did get picked, and obviously I think it is a bit too early for him, but it's an interesting selection. He did do well at Crystal Palace last season, and hopefully he can get settled in now. So that's the squad overview on how I think it is. Now, how do I actually think we can do? Now, I definitely think we've definitely got the beatings of both Tunisia and Panama, and I seriously think those two games are must-win games if we're going to stand any chance in getting out of the group. And of course, the big one we got is Belgium. And Belgium are obviously a very good team, of course. We know what they're like. They've got a phenomenal young team, a really good defence, a great team all round, especially De Bruyne and Hazard are the two most standout players. But I do actually think against Belgium we could get a draw. I wouldn't go as far by saying we can beat them. Or we might do, you never know. England can turn up on the day. Well, let's hope. But I think that game's going to be very crucial, and I definitely think who will win that game will likely top the group. And if you actually look at the structure of the knockout stages in the last 16, we could potentially be coming up against the likes of Colombia and Poland, who are two also good teams, but I do actually think England do have the capability of beating those two. And if we do so in the quarterfinals, we could come up against the likes of either Brazil and Germany, depending how we do in the group stage and depending if we do get past the last 16. Those are the strong opponents, Brazil and Germany, that we really could meet up with more like in the quarterfinals. And this is where I do think England probably might not go too far, because I do think that is a little bit step too far for them. I do think those two teams have much better squads and are much stronger than us. We have to admit that, but you never know, they might surprise us, but I really can't see it. So I'll be optimistic with England, and I'll say we can get as far as the quarterfinals. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree with me. Do you think we'll even make it out of the group? Do you think we can make it past the last 16? Or do you even think we can go very far? Are you optimistic? Are you super confident and think we can have a good chance in winning? Let me know in the comment section below. And finally, to end this, I'm going to have a look at some of the powerhouses of the World Cup now. Obviously, the favourites are Germany, the last winners of the World Cup, and I just think they're a phenomenal team all round. Of course, the standout players that we're going to have to watch out for are Toni Kroos, Mesut Ozil, Thomas Müller. You've even got the likes of Leon Goretzka, Julian Draxler, Timo Werner, even Manuel Neuer in goal, Matt Hummels at the back. They're just a fantastic team all round, a fantastic young team, and you definitely have to mark them as one of the favourites to win it, or possibly the favourites to win the tournament. Another strong team is what I have mentioned, Brazil. And I think they've got a very strong team. Of course, they'll want to bounce back after that horror show against Germany in their own country in the last World Cup, of course, Neymar is the main man, and they do also have some good players like Coutinho, Firmino, the Liverpool connection, and Casemiro in the midfield. And I definitely think they're a team that I've rebuilded lately, and a team that really I do think could do well in this World Cup, and I do think will do well. Of course, they have won more World Cups than anyone else, so they do also have that record to build on, so they do know what it's like, even though it is a different group. But if you look at their squads, I think you've got to fancy them to do very well. Another team is France. Now, they have also rebuilded very well. Of course, they will want to bounce back after that Euro defeat in the final against Portugal. And if you look at their team, again, it's a very good team all round. Of course, the main guys are Griezmann, Pogba, Kante. They've also got some good young talent in, like Ousmane Dembele, Nabil Fekir, Thomas Lemar. Again, they're just a very good team all round, and it looks like they've certainly rebuilded very well, and you could definitely see them doing very well. Another team is Spain. Obviously, they of course will want to bounce back after they didn't have a very good World Cup the last time. They went out in the group stages, and including losses to Mexico and Holland in the last World Cup, so they'll be keen to bounce back. And again, if you look at the team, I think they've also rebuilded very well. Of course, they have got quality players like Iniesta, Isco, Asenio, Thiago, David Silva. They've even got David De Gea in goal. They've got the likes of Piqué and Ramos at the back, and they're just a great team all round. And I don't actually think they will win it, but you definitely have to fancy them as definitely one of the favourites. Another team who I seriously think will do very well in this is Argentina. Obviously, their attack line is absolutely phenomenal. Messi, the main man, Dybala, Aguero, Higuain, Di Maria. They've got a fantastic attack line that can literally destroy anyone. But the problem with them, why they probably might come a bit short of this World Cup, is their back line isn't too good, and their keeper questionable, and midfield is quite questionable. But you definitely have to fancy them. They'll definitely get a lot of goals going forward, but will they be able to keep them out? That's the main thing, is more keeping them out, because if you analyse, that defence really wins you games, not necessarily attacks. Portugal found that out in the last World Cup when not the last World Cup, the last Euros, when they went on to win it. They actually won it based on their defence, not based on Cristiano Ronaldo, but still, you have to fancy Portugal. Maybe could be one of the dark horses, and they've just proved that they can cause a big threat. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo's the main man. They have also got a couple of other players like Bernardo Silva, who could do well, Dram Martinho. So you have to fancy them, but them to do quite well. But maybe this is a little bit too far for them. So, and obviously Belgium, who I've just mentioned, who are in England's group, obviously have a good, fantastic young squad. Their defence is very good, and going forward they look good. Lukaku, De Bruyne, Hazard, Mertens. Yeah, you have to fancy them to do very well. But who do I think is going to win it? I think it's a tough one. I seriously think there's 4 standout teams that could win it. Definitely Germany, Brazil, France and Argentina, I think, are the standout teams of them. But if you're really actually analysing it at this moment in time, I'm probably going to say I can't really see past Germany. I seriously think they are the strong favourites, and they're definitely going to be a team that can do well. But of course, I'd rather someone else won it this time. Would like to see France do well. Would like to see, of course, England do well. Would like to see Argentina do well. Would like to see Belgium do well. But yeah, I'm not sure. But definitely something to look forward to, and definitely something to be on the lookout, and definitely something to keep all football fans enjoyable, and something to watch this summer. So we're all looking forward to it. And yeah, that's been a preview of mine. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done, and leave in the comments below all the things that you've done. How do you think the Arsenal players will do well? Or how do you think England will do well? Do you think England will do well in the World Cup? Do you think we can win it? Do you think we can get out of the group? Do you think, how far do you think we can get? And who do you think will actually win the World Cup? Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, that's been a video of mine. And come on you Reds, and come on England.